Test. Hi guys, welcome to another Blender tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you different city shader or whatever. If you are new, subscribe. I upload Blender tutorials. It's late, okay guys, you can hear by my voice. I'm gonna finish record this and I go to sleep. Basically, I figure out some different city shader. Yeah, the same, different little setup like in the Windows shader, but basically I have more control of the buildings because I can place the camera right here, and this was my idea. Like, you have different textures on the ground, and of course we have the textures on the buildings, and you can place the camera right here. The buildings are not that dense, if that makes sense, because in the previous tutorial this city shader was, the buildings was very dense, okay, were very dense. In this tutorial you have more control of the buildings, okay, on the location, of course, how much the buildings you wanna have, if that makes sense. So basically I'm gonna show you this tree, and I'm gonna build more to this tomorrow, so stay tuned for that, because those buildings looks the same and it's annoying me a little bit. And on the shader I maybe work more. Basically you need subdivide plane. I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about. So subdivide plane, and go to the materials, and of course on the settings change to the displacement and bump, or maybe displacement only, yes, and you must change the engine to the cycles, of course. So I'm gonna show you this tree. Basically you can search those nodes by Shift A. Textures coordinate connect to the mapping, yes, and this goes to the vector math scale, of course, yes. This was in the Windows shader. This is almost the same, but it works, okay. Scale mapping connect to the scale vector math, and scale goes to the snap. So vector math change to the snap, and this goes to the white noise texture, and here we place in those kind of where the building's gonna pop up, yes, if that makes sense, and on the scale, of course, and on the snap change the values to the 1, okay. And this white noise texture goes to the gradient dot, so math, search for the math and the gradient dot, and play around right here the values. I have 0.8. Just copy those values if you want to have the same result. And this goes, of course, wait guys, I'm gonna try to move this. This gradient dot goes to the displacement, and displacement goes to the displacement. And basically what you're gonna have some kind of squares pop up, yes, if that makes sense. And you controlling this on the scale and on the mapping and on the white noise texture, yes, where those gonna pop up, and on the location, of course, and the mapping. I'm gonna show you the what I have on the shading stuff. It's familiar, like in the previous tutorials I playing with those stuff, okay. As you can see, this is the same idea, but I try to figure out different result to this. Wait guys, because I try to move this stuff and it doesn't work. Okay, now I'm gonna zoom in. Basically what I have, and this works, you can build simple stuff, but I'm gonna explain more complicated this, yes. I have textures coordinate from object to the mapping, yes. You can connect this from UV, from this to the mapping, and this goes to the brick texture, yes, of course. This give me look of this kind of windows, and I'm changing the rotation on the y-axis to the 90 degrees, yes, and I have this direction, the windows. If you don't gonna change, you're gonna have this direction, yes, this up and down, and I have this direction. Looks better, I think, so change this direction on the y, on the 90. I have brick texture, play around on the brick texture. Wait guys, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna just move this. So I'm not changing too much, I have just a little bit of scale, and mapping goes to the brick texture, and this goes to the mix RGB, of course, yes, to the first color. And I have the texture, another texture, because this texture gonna be on the ground. You can place different texture on the ground and on the roofs, and this is my idea, okay, to add some cool texture on the ground, some kind of asphalt, and this building's gonna pop up, or maybe some kind of road or whatever. I don't know, play around with the stuff. So this goes to the second color, and of course geometry, search for the geometry, and search for the dot product, wait guys, vector math and dot product. And basically geometry goes from normal to dot product, and play around right here, because this dot product goes on the factor on those mix RGB, because you connect in this some texture and this brick texture to have, you know, this on the windows, brick texture, and this goes on the ground and on the roofs. And this placement I have, like you see, some different values, some strange values, -1, -4, -56. Play around with this stuff, guys. And this goes to the base color, and I'm gonna explain you not that complicated stuff. Basically, you can just connect this brick texture to the base color, you know, from the factor, or maybe from the color, but from the factor I think looks better, okay. And you have the brick texture on the right here on the ground too, and it doesn't look that bad in my opinion, okay, because you have those bricks kind of stuff, and you have another bricks right here, this factor, so it doesn't look bad if you're gonna connect just this to the base color. But I have more control, I'm adding another texture to the ground, whatever I'm talking, very simple stuff. So basically I mixing this, yes, with the glass shader, of course. Wait guys, I'm mixing this with the glass shader, so I have glass shader and noise texture, connect factor to this value, and just grab the value. I have some kind of 5, and the detail, grab the detail on the noise texture, and I'm mixing this, so this principal shader or whatever it's called, and this glass, just mix with mix shader, yes, and just play around with this stuff. And this mix shader goes to the surface or whatever it's called right here, to the, you know, to shading stuff. I have different advice. If you don't want to build this complicated, this is not that complicated, but if you don't want to build this noise texture, we can disconnect, and you can plug this brick texture to the glass, okay, from the factor of course to the glass, and you have different results too. So you have more options. Like I said, I'm gonna dive in more tomorrow into that, because this is just the beginning, guys, and I just built this in 5 minutes, okay. Because this is very simple, and this is repeated from the previous tutorials, I know, but I have more control. I can place the camera right here, and this was my idea, because in the previous, like I said, the building was dense. I can place, and I have 1 building, 2 buildings, 3 buildings. I don't have, you know, 100 buildings, and I can place another texture on the ground. So this is the idea of this stuff. And like I said, stay for tomorrow, guys, because I record this very late. I need some content. Build this tree and wait for tomorrow for me, okay guys? Don't build to this, because I'm not gonna like you. Basically, watch this video, because I'm not gonna repeat myself. Yeah, thank you for watching. I go to sleep, guys. See you on the next video. See you tomorrow.